We're going to have marriages. Yah created us to have marriages. It's a responsibility that falls on us as men to establish what is righteousness in your household, with your wives, with your children, establishing your children what they're going to do when they get of age. They're going to learn from your example more than your words. You understand that? They're going to look at what you do more than what you say. Okay? So we're going to look at these scriptures. We're going to see what was done and how the Most High blesses with this union of marriage and how it's supposed to be. But we're going to start from the beginning. So let's get Colossians 3, verse 17. We're going to dive into these scriptures. All praise be to the power of Abraham and Jacob, was mercy truly endured forever.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3, and verse 17.
All right.
And whatsoever we do in word or deed, do all in the name of Hamashiach Yahushua, giving thanks to Yahweh and the Father by him.
Right, always giving thanks to the Most High in the name of Hamashiach Yahushua. Let's get Genesis. We're going to start at the beginning, we're going to go to the beginning. We're going to start out with Genesis 1:26.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1, and verse 26. And the Most High said, let us make man in our image,
right,
after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea,
right,
and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
Right. So man was made in the image of the Most High Yah, and he was made to have dominion. What does dominion mean? Rulership. Right? Man was made to have rulership over every animal, over the earth, meaning that it's under your control. Okay? The earth ain't not supposed to control you, you're supposed to control it. Okay? The animals are not supposed to control you, you're supposed to control them. Okay? You know?
Verse 27. So Yahweh created man in his own image,
right?
In the image of the Most High created he him.
Right?
Male and female.
Male and what?
Male and female.
Male and female.
Come on.
He created man, male and female. Okay. Tonight, can I get my boy?
So you want Genesis 1:27?
First, yeah, you look at 1:27 directly. We're going to look at it in Hebrew and in English. We're going to look at what the Father wrote to us in our native tongue, in the ancient Hebrew. What did it mean and what was translated in what is called the King James Version? Because sometimes there's some words that's translated, you might lose the essence of what the Father is saying. All right. For instance, it says, read 26 again. 126. Let's do it that first.
That's 127.
No, let's get 126 first. Let's do it that first. I'm going ahead. Let's get 126. Read that again.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1, and verse 26. And Yahweh said.
And who said?
Yahweh said.
So let's look at what it says here. It says, and, right? This word here is not Yahweh, is it? Anybody know the Hebrew? Who ain't know the Hebrew a little bit? A little Hebrew? What word is this? Even though it's kind of telling you underneath, but what word is it right now? It says Elohim here, right? How do we say that in ancient Hebrew? Alahayim. Right?
Yeah.
Alahayim. This is a Allah, Aha, a Ya, and a Ma. Alahayim. Right? In the modern Hebrew, it's Elohim. Right? Because it has the vowels sounds in it. So we already know Yahweh didn't say, let us make man in our image. Okay? The Alahayim said, let us make man in our image. What does the word Alahayim mean? What does that word mean? Can we just give us the meaning of the word as well?
Okay.
I think if you go to H, yeah. All right. Let's look at it. Look what this word means. Rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, gods. God is God like the true God. So it has all these different meanings. And when you go to the Blue Letter Bible, gives you all the meanings that this Elohim ever meant. But in the context of what we're reading, it's the angels. Okay. How do we know it's the angels? Because the scripture tells us in Genesis 1, in the beginning, can you do one and one? Can you pull it up real quick?
Yeah, I can pull it up.
Right. In the beginning, the Elohim created, right, the heavens and the earth. So we know that when you read in Genesis 1, it's the Elohim, it's the powers. Now, how many gods are there? How many gods are there? There's only one God. Let's prove that before I don't want to confuse anybody. Give me you can give me Mark 12:29. You can give me any one of the one God scriptures. Give me Mark 12:29. Or it's also Deuteronomy 1:6. Either one.
The book of Mark, chapter 12, and verse 29. Mark, chapter 12, verse 29. And Yahushua answered him, the first of all the commandments is here, O Israel, the Most High's power is one power.
Is what power?
Is one power.
So there's one power. There's one Most High. Right? There's not multiple gods. But that Most High Yahweh, He made powers that's under Him. Like Hamashiach Yahushua is a power, right? The angels are powers. The word God means powers, authorities. Give me a definition of gods again. What does it mean? Rulers, judges, divine ones, angels. So when you see the word God, it has meanings, different meanings. It's not always talking about the Most High Yah. You have to know when it's referring to Him or not. Now, when you read the Hebrew, it'll tell you. Because the Hebrew will say Elohim, or it's going to say Yahweh. It's going to tell you straight up who's it talking about. But now your discernment, as you read the scripture, you'll be able to discern what is it talking about, who's it talking about, or you can get a Blue Letter Bible or a linear Bible. I was using a linear Bible on my tablet here, and you can get that understanding of what is it talking about in the particular verse. Okay, but there's one Yahweh who created Yahushua, right? Which to us is a God, because why? He's authority over us. He has, Messiah has rules and judges over us. So for us, he's a God. Okay? But the Most High is his God. Give me for clarity, give me Psalms 110. And 1. Read it as it is written.
The book of Psalms, chapter 110 and verse 1.
Remember, can you quote Psalms 110? Also, go on.
The book of Psalms, chapter 110 and verse 1.
Right?
The Lord said unto my Lord,
Right?
sit thou at my right hand.
Read that again.
The Lord
The
said,
Lord, right?
Mhm.
Read on.
Said unto my Lord,
Said unto my Lord, read on.
sit thou at my right hand.
So who's talking here? Who is talking to who? Huh? Who's David? What is he talking about? He says, the Lord said to my Lord. Right. The Most High said to Hamashiach Yahushua. How do we know that's who he's talking about? Let's get Matthew 22 and 41. You might say, what does this have to do with marriage? It all going to make sense very shortly. All that comes from the top. Okay? And it must be established. Right, is it 22? 41? Yeah, right there. Yeah, start with 41. Read that.
Okay. The book of Matthew, chapter 22 and verse 41. While the Pharisees were gathered together, Yahushua asked them, saying, what think ye of Christ, whose son is he?
Right, so the Pharisees got, they had conferencing, and they said, who is this Christ, this Mashiach, this Yahushua? Whose son is Yahushua anyway, right? Because people are saying that he's the son of God, and they didn't believe that. They're like, well, whose son is he? You know, I know his father, Joseph, and Mary, his mother. So they're discussing this Yahushua. Read on.
They say unto him, the son of David.
The son of David, man, he come out of the line of David. He's the son of David. Now, David wasn't his immediate father. David was the last one. Was a king that was well renowned in his lineage. He said, son of David. Read on.
He said unto them, how then?
Who's speaking now? Who's speaking now? Mashiach Yahushua. Let's see what he has to say. Read.
He said unto them, how then do David in spirit call him Lord, saying?
Right. So he asked him, he says, how I'm David's son when David called me Lord? That's what the Messiah was telling the Pharisees. So he was dropping jewels on them, giving them understanding of what they read about in the time of David. What we just read in Psalms 110. He was explaining Psalms 110 to them. All right, read on.
The Lord said unto my Lord.
The what?
The Lord said unto my Lord.
Read on.
Sit thou on my right hand.
Right, so then he's letting you know David was talking about who? Mashiach Yahushua. When he said, my Lord. Right? Yahushua is pointing this out to the Pharisees. David was talking about me. That's why he said, the Lord said to my Lord. David had that understanding that Yahushua was between him and Yahweh. There's order. David knew that already. Yahushua didn't walk the earth yet. He wasn't born through Joseph and Mary. But David already was privy to this understanding. Right? Through the Spirit of the Most High. He already knew that there was one between him and the Father. Right? Read on.
Till I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Right, till I make thy enemies thy footstool. Meaning that until the Most High subdue this earth, come up here with me. That's why Christ said, I go to my Father. Right? Isn't that what he told us? He's going to his Father. And he's going to sit on the right hand of his Father. It was already prophesied. David was talking about this going down. Right? But this didn't take place till when he came in the flesh as a child born of Joseph and Mary, and he died, and he risen, and now he graduated to this. It was already prophesied for him to do this. Okay, read on.
If David then called him Lord,
read on.
How is he his son?
How is he his son? Read on.
And no man was able to answer him a word.
Right, he had him shut down. He didn't understand that their mind was blown, right? They were confounded at that point. It's a son of king. He said, he called me Lord. How am I his son? All right. So he gave him a little understanding, but it was for us to read in these days so that we understand what's happening in Psalms here. Okay. Mashiach is explaining to the Pharisees, but also explaining to us. So now we understand when we're reading in Psalms 110 and 1, that's the Most High. David is talking about the Most High went to his Lord, which is Yahushua, which then came to him. That's the order. Okay? He's showing you the order. Paul wrote of the same order. Give me 1 Corinthians 11 chapter. To show you that there's nothing new. What Paul wrote about was already written in the scriptures. He was just reiterating it. Read it.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1. Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ.
Come on.
Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things,
right?
And keep the ordinances.
Keep the what?
The ordinances.
Keep the ordinances, the orders. Read on.
As I delivered them to you.
As he's going to deliver them to you. He's not giving you a new order. A lot of people read the book of Paul and say he's established a new thing. Nothing that he had to say was not already said. Right? It's the way he put it that might confuse some people, might confound them. But as you go through the books and the writings of Paul, you realize, wait a minute, he's just reiterating what was already spoken to us. You know?
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach.
Right?
And the head of the woman is the man.
Right, so wait a minute. Read on.
And the head of Hamashiach is Yahweh.
Right. So if the Mashiach is in order, he knows his head. Who's the Mashiach's head? Who's the Mashiach's head? Yahweh. Okay. He knows who his head is. Even though he's powerful, even though the Most High invests all this strength and power to create and to do all the things that Yahushua has done on this earth, he has a head. Okay? He still has he doesn't look at it as, oh man, Most High is over me, so that means I'm not all that. Right? A lot of people have an issue when they know somebody's over them. They feel it's something that makes them less. But yeah, I wish I never thought it made them less. Matter of fact, give me that scripture said, thinking not robbery. You thinking not robbery? Hold on.
Thought it not robbery to be equal with God.
Yeah. Saw their hand. Thought it not robbery. Thought it not robbery. I get it.
Yeah, it's Philippians 2:6. Somebody said it in the back.
Philippians 2:6. Who had it in the back? Okay, sure, all right. Saw their hand.
The book of Philippians chapter 2 and verse 6. Who, being in the form of the Most High,
right,
thought it not robbery,
right,
to be equal with the Most High.
Right. Is he saying that he's equal with the Most High? What's he saying? Read on.
But made himself of no reputation.
But made himself of no reputation. Meaning that he didn't try to be equal with the Most High. He didn't think to rob the Most High of his level. He said he thought it not robbery. He didn't think of robbery. See, when you read Old English, we got to understand the way it's written. A lot of people read that scripture and misinterpret it. But Yahweh was saying about Yahweh, he said he never thought to rob the Most High of his position. As much power that was invested in Yahweh, he still knew that Yahweh was over him. He never wanted to be in his father's position. His father had his position. Everybody understand that? No matter what power is invested in you, you can never be above Yahweh. Everybody understand that? No matter what the Most High invests in your wife, she can be never over you. You understand that? I don't know. We're going to find that out. Read on.
Verse 7. But made himself of no reputation.
But made himself of no reputation, meaning that he stayed humble. Even though he might know this, even though he got all this power and strength, he kept himself humble. Is there a way to make that camera able to see the screen as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, because right now, they ain't even seeing me right now. Read.
And took upon him,
right,
the form of a servant.
And took upon him. So Yahweh, with all the glory and strength and power that's invested in him, what did he do? What position did he take? A what? A what? A servant. Very important that we understand it. Because a lot of people look like and say, well, yeah, I've heard people say, well, what am I, your maid? Like that's so terrible. When Yahweh, the great king, our defender, took on the form of a servant and did not think to exalt himself, but we feel to exalt ourselves, and we're nowhere near where Yahweh is. How that makes sense? We know.
And was made in the likeness.
And was made what?
In the likeness.
In the likeness, we know.
Of men.
Of men. Meaning that way he came. He was in flesh like us. Yahweh. As powerful as he was, creating heavens and earth and all the worlds. He said the Most High used Yahweh to create the worlds. Tells us that in Hebrews 1. But he came just like man. Right? But all that glory and power, he stayed humble. When we learn to humble ourselves the way Yahweh humbled himself, then we can turn to our wives and they have to humble themselves like we humbled ourselves, like Yahweh humbled himself. You see the trend?
Yeah.
If any breaking in that chain, there's a problem. And you won't be able to imagine. You can get mad, you can kick, scream, fight. It ain't gonna change nothing. You're only gonna be like kicking against the pricks, you understand? Right? If you sit there kicking against something that's only gonna damage your foot. Because you can't change this. Right? Either we're gonna do it right or we're just gonna be suffering. We're gonna suffer for doing it wrong. Go back to the orders. What Paul was talking about. The book of the shot is like, are you able to
see the screen?
Not just see the screen, but put the verses in as we go into like so that people have the verses online. Huh?
On the comments?
Right, on the comments. Just, you don't have to be each, but as we go into verses, just go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 1. Be ye followers of me,
right?
Even as I also am of Hamashiach.
Right?
Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I deliver them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is a Mashiach. Right? And the head of the woman is the man. Right? And the head of the Mashiach is Yahweh. Right. So now we understand deeper what this really means. That means everyone humbles to the one that's above.
We humble up. We humble to Yahushua. Yahushua humbles to the Most High. And then we can expect our wives to humble to us. And then we can expect our children to humble to their parents, right? Because they got to humble to both their parents, right? If any of us boast out of our position, how can we then look at our children and say, oh, you shouldn't do that? You shouldn't talk back. Or shoot, what example do they have? Right? If they have the example of there's no order in their parents, there's going to be no order amongst them. Order comes from the top down. And then it humbles from the bottom up. And everybody humbles to the one that's in the position above them. We're going to prove all things. Go back now to Genesis. We're going to read 1 and 26.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
And the Most High said, let us make man in our image,
right,
after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
So everything on the earth was supposed to answer to man, right? Let's go back to
Genesis
1:26. All the creatures, Ben had to have dominion over them. So let's create man. Let's look at that word man in that verse. What's the word for man? Who can see that word? What's the word for man? Let's create what? Adam. Adam. In Hebrew. Let us make Adam in our image. Read on. Mm-hmm.
Verse 27. So the Most High created man in his own image.
But use the Hebrew word. Use Adam.
Okay.
Read that again.
So the Elohim created Adam in his own image, and the image of the Elohim created him, male and female.
Wait a minute. He created Adam, male and female. Everybody follow that? He created Adam, male and female. So Adam is man. Okay. Could you click on that H120? Mankind, human beings, right? First man, city of Jordan Valley. So we know he ain't talking about city of Jordan Valley, right? Is it talking about first man? Because it said male and female, right? That wouldn't make sense. Mankind, that seems to be the one that fits the context. Mankind. Let's go back. Let us make mankind in our image. Oh, okay. Okay, let's go back to one. Read on.
Verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
And Elohim blessed them.
And Elohim and Elohim blessed them.
And Elohim said unto them.
And he said unto them,
be fruitful.
So this is the blessing. What was the blessing? What he told them to do? What's the first thing he told them to be? Be fruitful. Who's he talking to? Right. He's talking to Adam, which is what? Mankind, male and female, right? All right. He said, be fruitful. Read on.
And multiply.
And multiply. That means, how do we multiply? How do we do? How do we multiply? Gotta have children, right? Right? You gotta know your wife, and she gets pregnant, and you have children. That's how you multiply, right? Some of us keep multiplying, just keep multiplying, right? All of your age, still multiplying. That's a blessing. Right? That's a beautiful thing.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Read on.
And replenish the earth.
And do what?
Replenish the earth.
Make sure that mankind keeps coming back. Make sure it keeps coming back. Okay. That's why homosexuality is such an abomination. Because nothing comes out of that. It's vanity. It's an act that brings forth no result. There's nothing that comes out of that, right? He said, replenish, be fruitful, and multiply. That was the blessing that he put upon us. You know?
And subdue it.
And do what?
Subdue it.
That means anything tries to take you over, you step into the challenge and you rule over it. That's what it means to subdue it. Okay? When you subdue something, means you put it in check. Not everything is going to be, they say, well, man had dominion over the earth. That means that all the animals will just listen to you. It doesn't work that way. Nothing is that easy with the Most High. Some things you're going to have to break for them to listen, right? They say like a horse unbroken. You can't ride a horse that's not been broken. Horse will throw you off his back, right? You have to break that horse, and then you can ride that horse. Everybody understand that? So as men, we have to subdue. Sometimes we got to work to bring forth dominion. It's not just given to you. It's not like instant oatmeal or instant, you just want to mix it. Everything easy. Everything ain't easy with the Most High. You got to work for it. He told you what to do, but you got to work for it. Read on.
And have dominion over the fish of the sea.
Right.
And over the fowl of the air.
Come on.
And over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
Read on.
And Elohim said, behold, I have given you every herb that is
Let's sit on that. Let's go to Genesis 2 and 20. So we got to understand it from the beginning now. So now we know the Most High made mankind, told us to be fruitful, multiply, and replenish. So in order for us to be fruitful, multiply, and replenish, that man, that male, and that female, they got to get together. That's the only way it works. Right? That's how we be fruitful, multiply, and replenish. There has to be what? Marriages. There have to be children. There has to be. In this society, our daughters are taught, oh, you don't want no children. You don't want to be tied down. You don't want to mess up your figure. Right? They got big old belly. They got stretch marks. You worried about the wrong things. You have left what the Most High has put you on this earth to do. So we're going to reestablish that. Reestablish the Most High's will. Read on.
So in Genesis chapter 2 and verse 20.
2 and 20.
And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not found an helpmeet for him.
So let's check out this Adam now. Let's take a look at this Adam. Right, and Adam, right? But now, in the context of this Adam, it holds a different context, because he says, and he gave names to all the cattle. Right? Read that verse again.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 20. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air,
right,
and to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not found helpmeet for him.
Right. So this, for Adam now, everything is being brought to this Adam. Matter of fact, let's go up a little bit more. Let's get a full understanding of this Adam here. Get Genesis 15th verse.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2, and verse 15. And the Most High Power took the man,
Right, took Adam,
and put him into the Garden of Eden,
right,
to dress it,
right,
and to keep it.
right.
And the Most High Power commanded the man.
Can you give me that verse, 16, 2 and 16? Sorry. Okay. Right. So, and Moses took the man, read on,
saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat.
Right. So now this Adam, this man, was given instruction. He was put in the garden and he was given instruction by the Most High Yah. So he was taken from man and put in the garden. Mankind is already created. That thought pattern that you learn in churches, that there was one man and one woman, and they were frolicking in the forest together and nobody else is around, is fairy tales. It's cartoons. The Most High made male and female on the 6th day. But then he selected a man and said, I'm going to put you in this garden. And I'm going to give you instruction. Most High don't change. He created all the nations on the earth, but he chose one. He created all mankind, but then he chose one. I said, I'm going to put you in the garden. And I'm going to instruct you in a couple of things. I'm going to tell you what I want done. Just like he gave his laws and commandments to Israel. Now, who else? Who else did he give it to? No one else. Most High don't change. Right? We know.
Verse 17. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it.
Right, so he gave him commandment. This is the first man to have commandment. That's the first commandment. But people say, well, what's the first commandment? They're usually talking about the 10 commandments, right? But this is the actual first commandment. The first commandment is, thou may eat of any tree, but of the tree of good and knowledge of knowledge of good and evil, thou may not eat. That's the first commandment. Don't eat of the tree. Don't go to that tree. Don't get information. Don't do this. Right? Thou shalt not. That means don't do it. Right? Read on.
Verse 17. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil,
right,
thou shalt not eat of it.
Come on.
For in the day that thou eatest thereof,
right,
thou shalt surely die.
Thou shalt what?
Surely die.
Thou shalt surely die. Did he say maybe? Surely you will die. Meaning that, what does it mean you will die? That you will change, you will move from the position that this Adam was just put in. You will no longer be what this Adam is. When he said you're going to die, not that you're going to physically perish, but you will no longer be this Adam that you are now. You will no longer be who you are. Okay, that's what he's telling Adam. That's if you go to that tree, you're no longer that high man that I put you in the garden, that I gave commandments to. You know?
Verse 18. And the Most High Power said, it is not good that the man should be alone.
And the Most High said, it's not good that the man should be alone. So what do you mean? Was there no women on the earth?
There was women there.
There was male and what? Female. That was created. We went over that already. But there was no woman. He said man shouldn't be alone. Anybody single? Anybody who's single here don't have no woman? Right? Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Right? Was there no women outside? Are there women outside? Right? There's women outside, right? Women at the store, the Walmart, you see women all around, right? But you single, right? Because just like Adam was single, it wasn't because there was no women. But what type of woman did he need? What type of woman the Most High was going to try to give him? Right? We're going to see. Read it on.
I will make him and help me.
I'm going to do what?
I will make him and help me.
Most High said, I'm going to make him a help meet. The word meet, matter of fact, can we see that word meet? Let's see what it tells us. Before I tell you, what Charlotte said. Let's see what, let's get the word. Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Take that out. One who helps. They kept it real to the point. But the word meet, when you read it in the Bible, in that context, M-E-E-T, in that context, means good. It means good or just or right. Okay? Good, just, and right. That's what the word meet means in that context. And throughout the scripture, we see M-E-E-T, good, just, or right. They say that's not meet, that's not good, that's not just, that's not right. Okay? So he said he needed a help meet, one that was good, just, and right for him. It's not that there wasn't any females, but he needed one that was good, just, and right. Why? Because he's the first man that was given what? Commandment. So he couldn't just be with anybody. Because he's the first one that got commandment. So he's in a position with the Most High. Read on. Let's go back. Read on.
And I will make him and help me for him. Verse 19.
Come on.
And out of the ground, the Most High power formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air.
Come on.
And brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them.
Right. So Adam was there. He's given commandment. He's given position. He's in the king's position right now. The Most High is bringing it, and he's naming all the animals. That's a this, that's a that, that's a whatever. Right? Read on.
And whatsoever Adam called,
and whatever Adam said that he named that thing, read on.
Every living creature,
right?
That was the name thereof.
Right. So man, he's got a high level. Right. He got a position of a God. Because whatever he say it is, that's what it's going to be. He called hawk, just for English, we speak English. That's not the word. We speak English. So he says, he saw a bird and said, that's a hawk. And that's what it's going to be. Right? From now on, when you see that bird, that's a hawk. Right? When you see that's a chicken. All right? He was able to name everything as in his life. Of course, he didn't use those words, but in the words that he used. He was given position and power and authority, because that's what a God is. As authority, position, power. He was put in that position. Hold that and get Psalms 82.
The book of Psalms, chapter 82 and verse 6. Psalms 82 and verse 6. I have said, ye are gods,
right?
And all of you are children of the Most High.
Right. So the ones that are children of the Most High has selected them to follow his way, are gods on this earth. Adam was in a position of a God. Now, he's not the God. He's not the Most High. He's not even the Master Yahushua. But he had a position of authority. All right? Brother Michelle, does I touch that chord, I think? I don't think it's mine. Is it mine or the other?
I think it's yours.
Oh, okay. So, hopefully it doesn't get that bad. All right, read on.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 19.
All right, come on.
And out of the ground, the Most High formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them.
Yeah.
And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof.
Come on.
And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an helpmeet for him.
Right.
And the Most High power caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept.
Mm-hmm.
And he took one of his ribs,
right,
and closed up the flesh instead thereof.
Come on.
And the rib which the Most High power had taken from man, made he a woman.
Made he a what?
A woman.
Come on.
And brought her unto the man.
And brought him onto the man. Can we see that that verse? You're at 22. Yeah. And made him a woman. See the word here? What word is there? A shop.
Yes.
And made him a shop. What does that word a shop mean? Let me see what they got here for the meaning of a shop. Let's see. Wasn't the creation of woman? It was the creation of a wife. This is what was being created. Okay? That's not the creation of woman. Because male and female was already on the earth. What he created for Adam is a wife. Asha. How do you say wife in Hebrew? Asha. All right? Asha. All right? You might hear people say Isha. Like Isha in a modern Hebrew, right? That's what it means. It means wife. That's my Isha or Asha. Wife. Okay? Word for woman and wife are the same word. Now the word for female is a different word. Right? You have male and female. Then you have a shop, which is wife. Right? I think female is Yashafathia. Yashafathia is female. But your wife, right, is what Adam was being created for Adam. So essentially, so what happened here? He took the rib out of the man, right, and made him one. Of course, we know that's not physical. You got your ribs still here. You know? There's no ribs missing, right? So what is this talking about? What is it talking about? The wife's rib, his rib, and made him a wife. What does this woman have? What was more significant about this woman? Huh? What did he take from the man, really? Let's look at it. Get the Apocrypha. Get Ecclesiasticus 7:26. Sirach 7 verse 26.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, if you have the red Apocrypha, page 74, chapter 7 and verse 26. The book of Sirach, chapter 7 and verse 26. Hast thou a wife after thy mind?
After that what?
After thy mind?
After that who?
After thy mind?
Read on.
Forsake her not.
Forsake her not. Wait a minute. Hast thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not. What could this rib be talking about? Is it a physical rib? He took a rib and then molded a whole woman out of a rib? What is in this rib? What is this rib about? You see who's thinking?
someone like with the same spirit, with the same mind.
With the same mind. The rib is talking about the same mind, the same thinking. Okay? When you go to get a wife, you have to get a woman that has what? Similar thinking. Mind. See, a lot of us, we go get a woman and that's the truth be told, we can care less what she's talking about most of the time, right? We just try to get past her, yeah, right? Because we're looking at the physical, how she looked. You're not thinking about the first wife that was given to man, and that he had to put him to sleep and take his rib. That means a part of him had to be in her for her to be his wife. She had to have attributes of her husband. They make books about it. They say, man from Mars, woman from Venus. Yeah. That's Esau's madness. You're supposed to be on one accord with your wife. Let me show you something. Give me, stay in the same book. Give me 25 and 1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 25 and verse 1. Page 85 in the Red Apocrypha.
Mm-hmm.
In 3 things I was beautified and set up beautiful both before Yahweh and men.
Mm-hmm.
The unity of brethren.
Right? The unity of brethren. That's a beautiful thing.
God.
Brothers get together, they in one accord. You see them moving in the right spirit. That's a beautiful thing. Everybody can see that's beautiful. Right? Everybody gets encouraged when they see that. You know, brothers, it's power, strength. All right, read on.
The love of neighbors.
The love of neighbors. You living around your brothers. Imagine you living around all your brothers and sisters in the spirit. Right? That's a beautiful thing. When we had our own nation, we had our walled cities. Yeah. We locked out all the other nations on the earth. They could not live in our cities. They couldn't live in our communities. We didn't have no pedophiles two doors down. Mm-hmm. We didn't have that. We had straight Hebrews where we lived at. That's the way the Most High told us to live. When we came into the land, what did he have us do with the Canaanites? Get rid of them. Right? They couldn't be in the midst of us. Yeah. Why is that? Why they couldn't be in the midst? Because the unity of neighbors is beautiful in the sight of the Most High. We're supposed to be around our own. Right? We're supposed to be comfortable in the midst of our own. A lot of our people like to live up in between Esau. Live up in I don't know, wherever Esau lived. I don't even know where I live in, right? We're supposed to be in the midst of our own. That's beautiful on the Most High. We support our own. We're a nation, closely knit together. The Most High showed us. He brought us to the land. We'll go over that tomorrow. He sectioned off the land. All the tribes were neighbors of each other. They lived right next to each other. It was one tribe, next tribe, next tribe, next tribe. He didn't put one tribe over here, one tribe over there, a few Moabites, another tribe over there. He didn't do it that way. He put us all together because why? The unity of neighbors is beautiful in the sight of the Most High. Read on.
A man and a wife,
right?
That agree.
That do what?
Agree.
You sure you don't say argue?
Agree.
That agree. Read on.
Together.
How could you come to an agreement? How can you come to an agreement? That means there's a meeting of the what? The minds. That's beautiful on the side of the Most High. If you can't come to an agreement with your wife, there's a problem here. Because she's supposed to be a part of you. And I know you don't sit there arguing with yourself, right? Because she's supposed to be from your inside, your rib, right? Part of of who you are. You're supposed to have seen that in her before you made her your wife. Okay. But this part is what's not taught to us, right? We try to find somebody, well, she got a job. She ain't lazy. Yeah, she cook out a decent meal. I just make her my wife. Put her in my house. Then you be scratching your head, calling your brother on the phone like, yo, this woman's up. You didn't get marriage one-on-one. That's what happened. And you just picked up something, you don't realize what you picked up. It's in the scriptures. A lot of us might have been thinking maybe he did cut a rib out of Adam and form a woman. Y'all watch too much X-Men, right? That's not what's happening here. This is real simple. Most High always talks about using symbolism in his scriptures. He talks about you using your heart. Of course, you know your heart ought to do pump blood. Your heart is a part of your what? Your brain. Okay? When it says gird up your loins, this is your loins. He's not actually telling you to gird your loins. It's another part of your brain. Right? It's your willpower, your discipline. That's your loins. When it talks about your rib, it ain't talking about your actual rib. It's talking about another part of your brain, right? Your thinking, your understanding. It has to be unified, right? Now you're not gonna have the same mind, because we're gonna go into that part too. We're gonna get there. We're gonna see it, right? Because you're gonna see, even with her being the rib, she's still gonna go off, right? But she had to have some understanding that's unified. Ecclesiasticus 36 and 24.
The book of Sirach, chapter 36, and verse 24.
Come on.
He that getteth a wife,
Right?
beginneth a possession.
Does what?
Beginneth a possession.
When you get this wife, this rib, like we like to call him, that's my rib. You get a possession. She belongs to you. She's now your problem, right? Your responsibility, right? Right? Because it's your possession. Your stuff, like your shoes, your car, your house, that's yours, right? With the parts that work and the parts that don't work, right? Parts that you like, the parts you don't like, that belong to you. Read on.
A help.
A what?
A help.
A what?
A help.
A help. Well, that goes back to the original understanding of a wife, right? Because he said, it's not good that man should be alone, but I will make him a help me. When you get a wife, you're supposed to get that same thing that Adam had got.
Yeah.
That help, that rib. You're supposed to get the same thing. Read on.
A help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest.
Ooh-wee. A pillar of rest. Right? That means what? She's supposed to bring what? What's the word? Comfort.
The best, not stress.
Right? Not a pillar of stress, that's right. But a pillar of rest. She's supposed to bring that comfort. Well, now you start to understand what that rib is all about. Right? Because when that rib is, that's why he used this as a symbolism. Because this is a comfort zone. This is where you got your vitals. Your ribs protect your vital parts. Right? If that's protected, it brings comfort. Okay? She's supposed to be that comfort. Read on.
Where no hedge is, there the possession is spoiled.
So this is going into what? Where no hedge is, the possession is spoiled. Now, what is that hedge? That hedge is, what are hedges in the scriptures? What does hedge refer to? Protection. That's the word. Protection. Remember that Satan came to the Most High about Job. Yeah. And he told Most High, Job said, if you remove that hedge around Job, I bet you he'll turn on you. So the Most High allowed Satan to come into Job. Right? So that woman needs what? Protection. She needs that hedge around her. You're going to understand why. You got to be that hedge. You have to understand that's one of your roles that you play. You're the hedge. Now, if the woman decides not to go behind the hedge and gets herself into some issues and problems, well, she should have stayed behind the hedge. Okay? But you're the hedge because you're in Torah. Right? We're going to get more clear on that. That's the next point. The possession is spoiled. Read on.
And he that hath no wife,
right,
will wander up and down mourning.
Or wander, right, up and down mourning. Why? Because you lose your wife, you'd be upset about it. Like, what they go through these breakups they call them, and you'll be angry and be mad as hell. But some brothers, they lose their wits over their woman. Right? You see it on the news all the time. Crimes of passion, they call it, I believe. Right? Brother that shot up the house, the wife, the mother, everybody got a hot one over this woman here. Right? They lose their mind. Go to the 22nd, 21st verse of the same chapter.
Go back to 21st.
Yeah, go back to the 21st verse.
The book of Sirach, chapter 36, and verse 21.
Right?
A woman will receive every man.
Right?
Yet is one daughter better than another.
Right. One woman is better than the other. They're not, every woman is the same. You know what I'm saying? They're all the same. They're not all the same. Right? They're actually all different. Right? They might do the same madness, but they're different. You know what I mean? Right? They might do the same madness sometimes, but they're different. Reason why you understand they're different because then you will understand that there's some that's for you and some that's not for you. You can't make any woman for you. Right? You probably would want her to be for you, maybe because of her physical appearance, but you in time will see if this woman is for you or not. If this is a match, if this is, they have Match.com, right? And Christian Meets.com and BlackPeopleMeet.com and all these different .coms where people looking for what? They're what they call them, their soulmate, their match. There is a match. Now, I'm not saying there's one match. I don't think that. But there's a woman that has a characteristic that's a match for you. Then there's a woman that has characteristics that's not a match for you. Right? If you like to go to bed at 7, but she has to stay up all night, that's not going to work. Somebody's going to be pissed off, right? Or vice versa. Somebody's going to be like, listen, what the hell, right? So there's a woman that's not a match for you, and there's a woman that's a match for you. That's why you're supposed to take time and what? You're supposed to court these women. You're supposed to just grab a woman, meet her on Monday, and marry her on Friday. That's in this world. Everything is instant. Everything is right away. You don't even know this woman yet. How are you going to get this if you don't even know her? It's impossible. Unless you roll the dice, the Most High just bless you. You know what I mean? That could be it. Right? I didn't do what I was supposed to do, but the Most High just looked out. Right? Because I could have been messed up. I could have been jacked up. The Most High looked out for me. Sometimes he looks out, for fools. Right? Read on.
Verse 22. Okay.
The beauty.
The beauty of a woman,
right,
cheereth the countenance, and a man loveth nothing better.
And that's what it is. Most of us, it was what she looked like. Most of us, if she had that, effect, that's all she needed. Did you see her? Damn. Let me go holler at her. Let me say something. Right? By that point, all she had to say was yes. At that point, you was finished. You was melted into butter right on the spot. Ready to give you a social security number and everything. Woman ain't proved nothing to you yet. You don't need no proof. You just look. Nothing cheereth the countenance to a man better than a beautiful woman. A pleasing to the eye. That's all you need. But you'll find out later on that what's appeasing to the eye is not too good when it hit the belly though. Right? You know.
Verse 23. If there be kindness, meekness, and comfort in her.
Wait, kindness, meekness, and what?
Comfort.
Comfort. But that's what she was created to be. A comfort. A pillar of rest. Read on.
In her tongue.
In her what?
In her tongue.
So where does this comfort come from? Where does it come from? What she says, and what she says, where that come from? Her mind, man. Her mind. That's a woman's most secret part, man. You want to see her private parts. The private parts you want to see is her mind. That's the most important private part. And that one is hard to see. It's easier to see the other private parts. That take a lot less effort. Her mind takes more time. You have to see who this person is. Okay? You have to try this person. All right? The scriptures say you got to even prove your friends how much more your wife. Right? Be not hasty to credit people. Let them build that credit. Let them get that credit. Right? Sometimes it's hard to get credit, you know. We try to get credit nowadays. You know? It's hard, it's rough to get your credit score up. Right? But we give credit real quick. Just off the what she look like. She get all the credit, man. She get an 800 score just by walking in the room. Gave her 800. Well, I tell you, you gotta be a little bit more stern in how you giving away this credit, man. But later on, you'll find out. But this is marriage 101. This is how you're going to choose a mate. This is how you're going to understand that, you know what, maybe what you look like, it's important. Don't get me wrong, because you know, nobody want a wife and you turn over every night. You scared, right? The hell is that? Right? You don't want that. You know, your wife is supposed to be pleasurable to you to the eye. Anybody understand that? You know, let's prove that real quick. I don't want brothers to say, well, you know, you can get yourself a pretty woman, get yourself another woman, you know, and everybody's into different things, you know. I'm not going to knock you, amen. That's what you like. Give me, get Proverbs. Let's start with 15. Proverbs 5:15.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 5 and verse 15. Drink waters out of thine own cistern.
Drink waters out of thy own cistern. Meaning that what's a cistern? It's like a cup. So drink water out of your own cup. What is that talking about? You're going to find out in a moment as we read down. But I'll let you know, it's talking about get your own woman. All right? Drink water out, get your woman from your own people. All right? Don't go get yourself no Edomite woman. Or no Elam or definitely no Moab. No Hamite. No Ishmaelite woman. Right? You know.
And running waters out of thine own well.
Right. Come from the own source. But it's going to allow you to be closer. It's going to allow you to have that meeting of the mind. Because how are you going to be in the house talking about Esau is going into captivity, and your wife will look at you like, oh, really? I'm going into captivity now? That's an uncomfortable situation. You can see how that can be a problem, right? Tobit 4 and 12? Hold you at. Let's get Tobit 4 and 12. Because Proverbs about to go in, so let's see what
The book of Tobit, the Rebel Conquest, page 38. The book of Tobit, chapter 4 in verse 12. Beware of all whore, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers.
That's right. Take a wife of the seed of thy fathers. Beware of all whoredom. Right? So don't get caught up in no whoredom. Don't get, swayed. All right? People like to try to mess with Esau and try to blame the northern tribe. They say, well, maybe she might be northern tribe. No, she ain't no northern tribe. That's Esau. Leave her alone. All right? If you some Edomite say that sometimes, most I make all these women, you might find Edomite to be not looking too bad. But leave her alone. Because it's got to be a meeting of this. Yeah. Right? It's not just a physical thing. All right? This has to be a mental connection to you and this woman. Right? She has to have that comfort. Because down the lane, telling you that looks fake. Then what? Right? Is that the only hope it? No.
And take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe.
Come on.
For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Ooh, come on.
Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred.
Come on.
And were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land.
That's important. I'm going to tell you, you can even go as far as you try to get a woman, this may not, if it's possible, of your own tribe. If it's even possible. Right? Because you have a more connection, have a similar background, right? A similar history, something you can connect with. Usually get a woman that's from someplace foreign or have a foreign mentality, way of thinking. But sometimes you can get somebody that's from somewhere else and they got the same way of thinking. They just happen to be risen the way you was risen. And that happens as well. But you got to prove that. You got to look for that. But sometimes even better that you get a woman from your group because they know how you do things. They understand the culture. They understand where you're coming from. All right? You don't have to tell them certain things. They already know. Why? Because they came up where you came up. They understand your mentality. Right? It makes for more peace in your house. If it be so. If not, you get another one from someplace else, but at least it be of your own nation. Right? But if you're looking for the absolute best scenario, she'll be of your same tribe. She may have grew up in the area where you came from, all that. Why do you think we had arranged marriages? Because our parents were together in their walk and stuff. And they say, you know what, my son is going to be with your daughter. Because I see the way you raised yours and I'm raising mine, and we got like minds. We train our children the same way. They're going to be well when they come together. That understanding we used to have, right? Because they both being risen in the same spirit. So when they become man or husband and wife, they lock step. Because they were raised the same way, right? You got to tell them, listen, wash the damn dishes, right? They already washed the dishes already. Because they already know the dishes got to be washed. Some people don't know the dishes got to be washed. I'll do it tomorrow. No, I want to raise like that. Yeah. Don't put that plate in that sink for more than 10 minutes. Right? That's how you were raised. Somebody might say you tripping. Because they wasn't raised that way. Right? They're like, man, why you tripping? Man, tomorrow we wash it tomorrow. We wash it Wednesday. Let it hang out there for a while. Everybody do their thing different. I'm not saying that it has to be 10 minutes, but it's how you was raised. I'm just using this example. Okay. Read on. Let's go to Proverbs.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 5, and verse 15.
So that was a very good precept and topic. Because they hit right on point. Our forefathers married women of their own kindred. This is why they didn't have drama.
Yeah.
Because their wives knew the deal. They knew what they was getting into, they knew what kind of man this was. They knew what family, how their family was raised. This is how we do things. We're exalting Yahweh in the house. So you know your wife ain't gonna have Beelzebub in her backpack. Okay? You know.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 5, verse 15. Drink waters out of thine own cistern,
Right?
and running waters out of thine own well.
Come on.
Let thy fountains be dispersed abroad, and rivers of waters in the streets.
Come on.
Let them be only thine own,
Right?
and not strangers with thee.
Yeah.
Let thy fountain be blessed,
Right?
and rejoice with the wife of thy youth.
Right. So you see what it's talking about. Rejoice with the wife of your youth. Enjoy your wife. If you in the house, your wife, and y'all both, vex all the time, there's a problem here. You're doing something wrong. The scriptures say, enjoy your wife. Right? You're supposed to enjoy your wife. Everybody understand that? It ain't supposed to be a burden. You know the people that close the bar, they don't want to go home? Yeah, sir, we're closing now. I guess I'll go home. The last thing they want to do is go to that damn wife. That's in the house. They lingering, you locking the door. They still hanging outside. Well, go home, man. Don't you got a wife? Yeah. All right, when you see that, they don't want to go into that damn woman. Man. That woman in the house ready to damn get at them. No rest, straight stress when they come through that door.
Verse 19. Let her be as a loving hind,
right?
And pleasant roe.
Come on.
Let her breast satisfy thee at all times.
Come on.
And be thou ravished always with her love.
It's supposed to be going down in the house. She's supposed to be like the pleasant roe. You know what a pleasant roe is? What's a roe? What's a roe? It's a young deer. You ever see a young deer? How they be hopping all over the place? Right? You're supposed to be like a lion and chasing the deer around the house, ready to drag it down everywhere in the house. If that ain't going on, something's wrong. If y'all in the house and she in that room and you're in this room and y'all I ain't trying to go. You don't want to go in the room she in. Something wrong. She's supposed to be like the pleasant roe. Like that young deer hopping along through the house. And you like that lion hopping on behind him, right? All over the house, right? To be always ravished with her love. It's written in the scriptures.
Verse 20. And why wilt thou, my son, be ravished with a strange woman?
Why you want to touch these I don't understand. I see brothers sometimes, brothers with fringes on, talking about they want to deal with the other women, the other nations. That thing baffles the mind. Right? We got all flavors in Israel. You want to go deal with the damn Elam or something, or Moab or something. What are you doing over there? We got all flavors in Israel. Scripture say, you said my inheritance like a speckled bird. That means we got every type you want. Afro, you want long hair, you want this, you want that, you want light skin, dark skin, tall, short, fat, skinny, we got everything. In the nation. What are you doing over there? Right? He said, don't be ravished with no other nations' love. Because the other nations will get you too. Don't think they won't get you. What did the scripture say? He said, their kisses is soft as oil. Don't think their kisses ain't good than the other nations. They'll get you. All right? But you got to be wise in that. Give me Proverbs 7, verse 1.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 7 and verse 1. My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye.
Right?
Bind them upon thy fingers, write them upon the table of thine heart. Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thine kinswoman,
Right?
that they may keep thee from the strange woman.
That they may do what?
Keep thee from the strange woman.
These commandments, these laws, these statutes are going to keep you from these strange women.
Hmm.
If you follow what you're learning, this is 101. We're going to do 102. I'm going to get somewhere, we'll get to somewhere in these scriptures, but there's too much to go into for one class. This is the foundation of marriage. This is more of a foundation. So marriage 101. All right? We won't go into it more in depth, as we do. It takes about 3 or 4 classes to cover marriage completely, right? But we're going to go with just the foundation today. Some of the foundation thoughts that you're going to take away from tonight, we're going to go over it shortly. Just a couple more scriptures, then we're going to go over what did we get out of this class. But understand that these commandments is going to keep you from being even attracted to a strange woman. If you're thinking worldly, you'll be attracted to any woman that got, round behind or whatever the case may be, right? But when these scriptures come in, now the strange woman you're not interested in. Why? One, you know what? You touch this woman, what? You break it, you buy it, right? You keep it. So you lay with this woman, you can't leave with this woman and lay with this woman and lay with that woman and lay with this woman, right? You take that woman, you keeping that woman. So now you think a little bit extra before you touch that woman. You say, man, shoot, I can't deal with that woman and walk away. We did that in the world. In the truth, you can't do that. In the light, you can't do that. You do that in darkness. Right? So these commandments will make you slow you down a little bit and say, let me analyze if I really want to deal with this woman or not. Okay? Because this is going to be a lifelong journey. Okay? I'm going to do this one for the rest of my life. All right? So that's the understanding when you come to this truth. All right? So the commandments will keep you from that strange woman. You're like, nah, I don't know her like that. And even if she looked like you, a woman could be strange here, not necessarily physical, right? She can look like you, but when she talk, you like, what she talking about? Huh? She just want to go, yeah, Sally, and I'm going with my friend and Jeff and Steve, and we're gonna buy a house, and you're like, wait, by who? Wait, where you going? She done ran all in the middle of Esau, right? I can't deal with that. I think that turned my spirit. Women will be all up under these nations, always smiling up in their face. I don't read that. I know I wouldn't be comfortable with that person. You know what I mean? Just off of their speech. I need a woman that say, man, the hell with a white man. That's attractive to me. I hear a woman say that. I want to talk to you now. What did you say? What the hell with this white man? Okay, let's talk then. You just got my attention. Tell me a little bit more of what you said now. Really? I said, man, sister, you racist, man. You gotta have the meaning of the minds. These laws, statutes, and commandments will divide that line. They will make it clear. They'll make it plain. Then you will see what she about. Is she about this world, this kingdom? Is she God bless America? I don't care what she look like. That woman say God bless America. She don't look that good to me no more. Because that tells me that she's missing upstairs. Seriously missing. Even if you don't know the truth, God bless America, you got some issues up here. As a woman of color, just make a statement like that. You know what I mean? That means you totally are locked off. Like that woman that came into camp last week. With that dude from Portugal, right? That sister was a strange woman, right? Because she was totally out of line of how people are going through and what are the issues that's faced in our society. We talk about our people in the hood. She said, I don't live in the hood. You're not getting this, right? Yeah. You just totally, the whole neighbor, you go down the Sis Trunk, I don't see a bunch of Edomites living out there, right? But she's totally disconnected from that. That's just an example, right? You see it on YouTube. I forgot what did that title that one? Woman Gone Mad or something? Bad black woman, black woman. What's that? What is it?
It's just the big mouth black.
The big mouth black woman. That's what it's called.
Can't keep quiet.
Can't keep quiet. Right? So she might look like a sister, but her insides ain't right. She don't got that rib of any of us. I don't know what rib is made that woman. But that ain't none of our ribs. Right? All right, let's go back to Genesis so we can close with this thing. What did we make it to in Genesis 2 and 20? Make it 24 yet?
Between 2 and 23.
23. Let's read 24. Back to Genesis.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 23. Genesis 2 and 23. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones,
Right?
and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman.
But is that the word? She shall be called Isha or Asha, which means wife. Bone of your bone and flesh of your flesh is your wife. Everybody understand that? She got to be bone of your bone and flesh of your flesh. She got to be about what you're about for it to be wife. A lot of us got roommates trying to pass them off as being wives. She's not bone of your bone, flesh of your flesh. And I don't want to call it. I don't know what you got going on. You got to get there. You got work to do. Remember, it says you got to subdue the earth. It didn't say that it was just going to lay down for you, make it easy. There's some work that you need to be done. You know?
Because she was taken out of man.
Because she come from you. That's why. You know?
Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife.
Why would he do this? Because she was made for you. Now you have. What did your father and mother do for you? What did they do for you? They called you. They helped you, right? Helped you grow. They raised you. Now you're risen, right? So then you cleave to your wife, and you go raise your children, right? You establish your household. A lot of times they have a problem there. They don't want to separate from their parents, the man or the woman, right? And they want to take their parents with them in their new household. And then now their father is running this. It's confusion, right? The in-laws are outside of the house, okay? Whether they're physically, you could be physically in the same house, but they're supposed to have the wisdom to know, I don't get in between y'all marriage. You got some mother-in-laws, some father-in-laws that get all in between the mix of, what did he say to you? You don't let him talk to you like that. He not disrespecting you. What did he say? What did she say? They don't belong there. That's why it says they cleave. And they separate. They leave the mother and the father. Everybody see that? A lot of confusion happens because people don't know these scriptures. So mothers and fathers be out of pocket, out of position. Right? You done sold a daughter. Listen, you sold a daughter. It's his now. He began that position, that possession. He got to deal with it now. She come running back. Oh, God, that, you know what he said? He said, yeah, he said that? Okay. So let me tell you. Well, you know, it's your husband. Right? If you hear something way out of order, you can go to that husband and be like, listen, brother, you keeping your house as your king, is your head. You learn something that was way out of order. Right? But you're not to get in between them. Or in between your relationships, your wife, their parents, your wife's parents, and your parents equals in between that. Read.
And they shall be one flesh.
They shall be what?
One flesh.
And they shall be one flesh. You know?
And they were both naked.
That's it on that. Give me Tobit 8 and 6. And then we get Matthew 19, and then we're going to wrap it at that point. Tobit 8 and 6.
The book of Tobit, chapter 8 and verse 6. Thou madest Adam
Right?
And he gave him Eve,
right?
his wife,
Right?
for an helper
Right?
and stay.
Right, so that's her purpose. A helper and stay. What is a stay? What is a stay? You all understand what a helper is. But what's a stay? What is that? Companion? What is that? Let's somebody look it up. Give me Webster's understanding of the word stay. Yeah. Let's see what it says in it. See if it gives us the right definition. Everybody got it? All right, stay. I got it. Remain in the same place. Remain in a specific state or position. Okay. Remain in the same place. Remain in a specific state or position. I like that second one. Remain in a specific state or position. So she's supposed to be a helper and a stay, meaning that she is to be once you have gotten a wife, she ain't supposed to be looking to leave and oh I'm gonna go and oh this is not working out, maybe I should leave. I hear them say maybe I should go. She's supposed to understand that she's a stay. What does it mean to stay? That means she stays right there.
Kissing.
Right? Kissing. Right? She stays right there. She goes nowhere. Okay? She doesn't leave and, oh, you know what? There's a problem. That's the first thought pattern in this society now. You know, there's issues. Maybe I should leave. A woman that's righteous knows that she's a stay. That the home, that's her proving ground. Right? That will go over more in the second marriage 102, I guess. But in 101, that's where she gets proven from the Most High, how she handles herself in that house. That's where she gets her blessings from. A lot of the women don't know that. They think they can go there and get their blessings some other way. Maybe they want to be evangelists, go on the street and teach. Right? Meanwhile, their place is to be a stay, a helper and a stay. Okay? You ever done?
You say you get married, don't need to go down to the courthouse to get married, right?
No. Nope. We're talking about Eve was made for Adam. There was no courthouse. There was no ring. There was no certificate. There wasn't even a certificate at that point. She was just brought to him, and he says, "You're bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh." Okay, that's what happened. Are we going to go into all of that in the second installment of marriage? Go into the documentation and what needs to take place and the father. Right now we're at the basis of marriage. We're just understanding the union. Right? Why was it? Where did it come from? Where was the first marriage? So when was the first marriage? Between who and who? Adam and Eve, right? That was his wife. That wasn't the creation of man and woman. That was creation of husband and wife that we're reading about. The nucleus of family. We go into the 4th chapter. It says Adam and Eve and brought forth a child, and the child's name was Cain. And that's the first family. But we're going to get there. We'll get there tonight. Give me Matthew 19:1. A helper in a state. Matthew 19:1.
From Matthew chapter 19 and verse 1.
Right?
And it came to pass that when Yahushua had finished these things, he departed from Galilee,
Right?
and came into the coast of Judea beyond Jordan.
Come on.
And great multitudes followed him, and he healed them there.
Right. So Yahushua is road. He's healing the people. Great multitudes is following behind him. He's giving them the word. He's touching them. They're getting blessed. Their infirmities in their bodies getting healed up. You know.
The Pharisees also came unto him.
The Pharisees are watching all this go down. Right? You know they already had issues with Yahushua. They didn't give him his position. Right? The Pharisees are like the churches today. Them big churches with all the big pastors who they were ordained and by this person, by that person. They see us out there on the street teaching the word, they be mad as hell. Look at these niggas over here. Messing up the game. Telling people don't come to church. Don't they know I got rent to pay? I got car payment. They so upset with y'all. Because we moving in that Yahushua spirit. He didn't get no authority from nobody. Most High blessed with the spirit. He rolling. Blessing the people, healing them. That's what we do. We go out there to teach them. We out there to heal them. Right now. Because they're sick. They're hurting. Because they continue sinning and they continue paying for the sin. And they don't even realize why they're going through the things they're going through. When we bring the law and the commandments into their life, guess what? We healing them because they no longer have to go through the same pains that they were going through. So we're healing their lives with the scripture of the Most High. Right? There's an immediate blessing for keeping Torah. Not just at the end, there's a blessing today. Because today, the more you learn the way the Most High is created, how things are supposed to work on this earth, the more that the earth will start to work with you. Right? Then the more you're aligned with the spirits around you, now things start to work in your favor. Why? Because you align with the Most High. Right? Now the Most High's got your back. You good now. Right? But back you was in the world, you fighting, you arguing, you complaining, you wondering why things are the way they are. That's why the scriptures say, go through the city, to the midst of the city, to those that sigh and cry for the abominations being done in the city. That's what we go to teach the people that's not okay with America. But they don't understand what the problem is. So we go to get show them what the problem is according to the scripture. And how to repent and how to come out of that. Okay? So just like Yahushua was healing the people, we want to not healing the people's spirit. We don't.
The Pharisee also came unto him, tempting him. And
tempting him? What do you mean to tempt him? They tried to make him go off. They tried to see if he could get Yahushua to say something sinful. They want him to say something wicked. They tired of all this damn righteousness coming out of his mouth. Now people say, well, don't go to the Bible. Let me hear what you got to say. Because they want to get you saying something that's wicked. That's what we always tell our young men. Stay in the scriptures. Because they can't battle you if you stay in the scriptures. If they battle against Yahweh. They ain't battle against you. But they get you to talk out of the scriptures. Now they got you. They can catch you. They can trip you up with your words. All right? Read on.
Saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife, right, for every cause?
Right. So we'll touch a little bit of this now. They said, well, is it according to Torah that we can put away what do you mean put away your wife? Divorce. Get rid of her. For every cause. Man, if I don't like the way she do things, I can just get rid of her. Isn't that what they tell you in this society? If y'all can't get along, maybe y'all should just divorce. Maybe he wasn't for you anyway. Right? And the woman moves on. What they call it? They call it breakups. Right? So, oh yeah, we broke up. I don't understand what that means anymore. I'm so far out of that lifestyle. What do you mean you broke up? Would you break up? Well, he left. That's it. That's it. Because in Torah, there's no breakup. There's no breakup to make up, to break up. Right? But in the song, how the song go? That's all we do. Right? Make up to break up. Song like that from back in the days. Right? We don't, it's not that, that's not in Torah, that's not in scripture. There's no makeup to break up, right? There's marriage. When a marriage is dissolved or there's divorce, that's a big deal. That's a heavy weight, right? That ain't no light thing. That ain't just, what happened? Yeah, did you used to have, oh yeah, we ain't together no more. You can't just show up with another wife. Well, wasn't you with, yeah, but I don't deal with her no more. That's not Torah, right? You can't just show up. Where's the records? Where's the situation? Where's the documents? What happened? That's like you had 4 children, right? Then you show up with 3. Didn't you have 4 children? Nah, you can't just slide that away. Yeah, we broke up. I don't know what happened to the 3rd one. Yeah, we had 3 now. We had 4. I don't know what happened to the 4th one. No. Okay? You need to have documents. Situation happened. Man, did somebody die? Right? What happened? That's the way it was. That's the way it's supposed to be. Right? But this society teach y'all, I'm going to step. I'm going to leave. And then the men, they jump with the woman. Oh yeah. Well, I broke up. Oh yeah, y'all broke up. When y'all broke up? Yesterday. Okay, good. Well, you get your number. You know what I'm saying? What? That's wickedness. You supposed to be like, yo, hold on. What? Where's your husband at? Let me go talk to that man. What are you doing out here talking about you single? Why is your wife out here talking about you single? Right? You don't ask no questions. You know why? Because we all out of order, man. Right? Woman come tell me she's single and she got children, she lying. How you single, you got children? Where the hell did your babies came from? You got a baby in her hand. Like, yeah, I don't have nobody. The lesson was immaculate conception, which we don't teach here. Obviously, you had somebody several times. You right? You know.
Verse 4. And he answered and said unto them, Have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female?
Did we read that?
Come.
He made them male and female. Come. Read on.
And he said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother,
right?
And shall cleave to his wife.
And shall cleave to his wife. Come on.
And they twain shall be one flesh.
Shall be one flesh. We just read it. Read on.
Wherefore, there are no more twain, but one flesh.
There are no more twain, but one flesh. Then that what? You can't just leave her. You're one flesh. Right? You got 2 arms, right? You show up with 1 arm. Something happened. Right? Something terrible happened. Right? There's got to be some record of this. Where's the other arm? I don't know. It was there and now it's not here anymore. No, something happened. It was severed. It was cut off. What happened? What's the situation? What's the documents? What went down? This is serious. It's not a light thing. We make it a light thing, but the Most High never made it a light thing. Right? This society makes it a light thing. Remember, we all risen as Gentiles. So a lot of that Gentile mentality is in us, and we got to purge it out of us. Right?
When you say the twain, is it talking about young sexual or having kids, or what do you mean by them just getting?
It's both. It's actually physical and spiritual, because the physical act carries a spiritual connotation. All right. When you lay with a woman, and this will probably be in 103. I'm not gonna get to it next. But when you lay to a woman, right? Lay with a woman, you physically come together, but you also your spirits come together too. Right. That's why it says he that lay with a harlot, you became one with that harlot. Right? Because when a woman and when a man and woman lay together, they become one. Right? So that's talking about both. It's talking about spiritually and physically. Right? That you twain become one. But the one is also the child, if it's a child bring forth. But the one is also is, as we're going to read on, you'll see, you cannot be separated anymore. Once you lay twain, you're not supposed to be separated anymore. Everybody understand that? That's the consummation of the marriage. You lay together, you're not supposed to go your separate ways anymore. Now you are one. You twain and then one. Right? The twain is the act, and after the act, you are now one. Everybody understand that? If you go, if it's a coming together process.
Can a brother marry sister that has kids from another brother?
Okay. Whether a woman has children or not is not a prerequisite whether the woman can marry or not. Because we're dealing with us coming out of a dead state. We're coming out of that sinful life. Right? Scriptures tell us that our daughters have sinned. Okay? They have done all kind of whoredoms in the earth and harlotry. They didn't, unawares, just going along with what society does or following, whatever they were taught, or the case may be. Once you come into this truth, though, now you start to be careful what you do. You know what I mean? In this word, we should not be, if a brother got, children or a wife or whatever it may be, we take that, let's just document saying this divorce has been documented, right? You should not mess with that woman. You know what I'm saying? Has to be documented, that man has to sign off that he will no longer be with this woman ever again in his life, right? And has no kind of connection to her. Then you can determine, but there's something that needs to be established. So a rule of thumb, be careful with that. You know what I mean? Especially when you're dealing with women in this world. Men drop off men sleep with women because they had too much to drink. They weren't trying to marry nobody. You know what I mean? It was in a club, it was chill, it was whatever. Right? They don't know the woman's last name. And she can have his children. Right? Dogs have children, right or wrong. Dogs have puppies, right? They don't have children, they have puppies, right? Any animal can lay with another animal and bring forth another animal, right? There's no union there. There's no marriage. There's no the dog here today, over there tomorrow. It doesn't make no difference to them because they're moving off an instinct. A lot of us move like dogs on this earth, right? But we are upright. When you bring the Torah comes into you, now you're standing upright. You're no longer moving like a beast. Without Torah, we move like beasts. You know what I mean? We want and we get and then we move on. We have no order. All right? So if a woman has children, right, and she's just coming to this word, her former life, when she repents, her former life is not mentioned, just like yours is. So we can't hold it to her arrest. You know what I mean? Because her former life is not mentioned. Because if her former life was mentioned, that means ours would be also. And that would be, nobody wants that, right? You want to leave your rap sheet out there, whatever it was, right? And you come to this truth. So we gotta have that same, we gotta extend that same mercy and grace to our daughters that have children. So I hope that makes sense. Right? Read on.
The book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 6. Wherefore, they are no more twain, but one flesh.
Right?
What therefore the Most High hath joined together,
Right?
let not man put asunder.
Right. So we ain't supposed to be trying to get divorces. Divorce is not a solution. Right? Divorce is not the solution to the problem. Divorce is a problem that you can't get a solution for. Therefore, divorce was the only alternative, right? But it's not the solution to the problem. The solution to the problem is fixing the problem. Okay? Sometimes it can't be fixed, right? It's like a house that's been condemned, right? It can't be fixed, you just gotta knock it down. Yeah, it's no use, right? There's situations like that. That's most high giving us mercy. We don't.
Verse 7. They say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement?
Right. So the Pharisees saying Moses gave us a writing of divorce. What are you talking about? Yahweh? Moses gave us a writing of divorcement. So we got the paperwork. Why can't we just divorce when we feel like it? Right? Read on.
And to put her away.
And to put her away. I don't want this woman anymore. I give her a bill and send her away. Read on.
He said unto them, Moses because of the hardness of your
Of
hearts.
whose heart? The hardness of whose heart? What did he say? He said, because the hardness of your heart. He told to the Pharisees. He says, you cats is wicked. That's why Moses gave you a bill. Because you don't want to do what the Father tell you to do. You don't have a fleshly heart. You have a hard, stiff-necked, and rebellious spirit. Therefore, Moses gave you the bill of divorcement. It wasn't that he needed a bill. Moses didn't get divorced. He had his wives. Right? You needed the bill of divorcement because you cats is wicked. Read on.
He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts,
Right?
suffered you to put away your wives.
Remember, he made us very, he didn't say us and we. Yahweh made us very plain when he said that. He said he suffered you to put away your wives. He wasn't taking nothing with that. That was not me. You, right? Because you wicked. And you had to suffer because you had to put away your wife because you couldn't get it right. Yahweh was very, right? He made sure he made that known. Not us, you, right? Read on.
But from the beginning,
read on.
it was not so.
Was it not so? Because didn't Eve go off? We'll go to that next class, but Eve went off, right? Did Adam put her away? Eve caused them to get kicked out the whole damn garden. He still ain't put her away. Bob was ready to put away their wife because she raised her voice. You know, or she come home too late. She's tired of telling them 6 o'clock and she come in at 6:15. I'm tired of standing. I'm about to get rid of that. She refused to be here in 15 minutes. That's a Pharisee spirit to think that I'm put my wife away because of her shortcomings. All right. Mm-hmm. Let's read on.
Verse 9. And I say unto you,
and he said unto you,
whosoever shall put away his wife,
read on,
except it be for fornication.
Except it be for fornication. What is fornication? That's a form of fornication. Adultery, right? Huh? No. That's another form of fornication. Right? Fornication is any unlawful sexual act. Falls under fornication. Right? So if your wife is fornicating, whether it be with man, beast, whatever it be with, right? Whatever the hell she's doing, if you say, listen, cut that madness out, and she continues doing it, or maybe you find out she's doing some madness, and you're like, no, that's not going to work for me. In that case, you can get rid of that woman. Okay? Because the Most High is merciful. He's not going to put you in a situation you got to suffer something that you may not be able to deal with. All right? So, you know, but he's merciful. So he's accepted me for fornication. He said he'll let it pass for fornication. If that's the problem, all right, you can put her away. All right? Read on.
And shall marry another,
right,
committeth adultery.
But if you put her away for anything less than fornication, and you go get yourself another wife because I got rid of that joker, I'm gonna read this new one right here, right? You commit adultery. Why is that? Read on.
And whoso marrieth her,
because now this woman is out there, what is she gonna end up doing? She'll get with somebody else. Read on.
Which is put away,
right,
doeth commit adultery.
So now, because you put her away, you guilty of adultery. You know why? Because she gonna go lay with somebody, and she gonna be guilty of adultery, and the man that lay with her is guilty of adultery. But it's all because you put her away, so that adultery's on you too. So that's a 3-form, right? You put that woman out there, she'll go lay with another man. That man, now he jacked up, she jacked up, you jacked, everybody jacked up in the eyes of the Most High. So we not to put these women away and have all these women running around acting like they single, and then one of them a virgin. That don't make no sense. Not in our kingdom. Single women supposed to be virgins. Everybody understand that? or widows. You know what I mean? Let me see the death certificate or something. How'd you become a single woman? Like, well, what happened? Right? So, okay.
Is this vice versa for the woman also? Like if saying the man goes out, she's able to leave her husband because I'm just seeing just the male said they can leave the wife. But
And
vice versa.
you are seeing it correct. Correct? There's nothing vice versa in the scriptures. Okay? This is specific, focus specific on the woman committing fornication. Right? Now, we're not saying that the man can be doing all kind of madness and have no recourse for it. We can go into that. But this particular scripture is talking about the woman committing fornication. Okay. Now, there's scriptures of men being unbelievers on that. We'll go into that as we do more classes on it. But right now, when it comes to adultery, what's adultery according to scripture? And what? What is the definition of adultery?
When a married man with another married man's wife.
Almost.
When a man lies with another man's wife.
That's it. That's adultery. When a man sleeps with another man's wife, is adultery. That's the core definition of adultery. A man lays with another man's wife. They both have committed adultery. Leviticus 20 and 10 real quick. We'll end it with that. Just so we understand. That it's not a vice versa thing. Because it wouldn't make sense if it was a vice versa, because men can have more than one wife. But we'll see, we'll get there in 102. Right? Read that. 20 and 10. That's 20 and 10?
21. Yeah,
The book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 10.
What?
And the man that committed adultery with another man's wife,
With what?
with another man's wife,
See that? For you to commit adultery, you gotta be laying with another man's wife. Right? Read on.
even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife,
Right?
the adulterer,
You're right.
and the
The
adulteress
man and the woman is guilty of this. Right? Read on.
shall surely be put to death.
Shall surely be put to death. So the man and the woman is guilty, not just the woman. The man can't say, yeah, I lied with her, but no, he'll be guilty of adultery too. Okay? So that's what adultery is. A man lying with a married woman.
That's what all they promote in society too. Like
That's
music.
that's it. Every R&B song or rap or singer or rapper is always rapping to somebody else's woman, right? How they can be better for you than them. They can do you better than he can do. You need to get out of that zero, get with this hero type of spirit, right? That's all adultery. Check it out. All these songs coming in is a pure adultery that they're speaking about. Nobody, I don't hear no song talking about they want their virgin wife, right? Untouched woman, or, be with me, the only one you ever been with. No, they all say they're better than the last one you was with, right? Because what they feed in that spirit of adultery, it's all wickedness and sin, all right? They feed in that spirit of adultery and fornication on this earth, okay? So, let's say, what do we get out of this first marriage 101? First of all, we got, what's the first marriage between who and who?
Adam and Eve.
Right, first marriage is with Adam and Eve, right? Eve was made from Adam's rib. What does that really mean? That they were what? Like-minded. Beautiful. Right? We are to get women, when we get a wife, that is from our own what?
Nation.
Nation, right? Tribe, nation, all that is very important, and we understand that. Okay? The order that's in our household is what now again? What's the order? Yahweh? Yeah. That's right. Yahweh, Shai, man, woman, children. Right? That's the order. Right? Just like Yahweh Shai humbled himself to Yahweh, man, we humble ourselves to Yahweh Shai, and our women is do what? Humble themselves to us. Right? No matter what power is invested in them. A lot of times power make you confused. Right? Sometimes your woman can be damn CEO of Chase Bank, and you wash cars. She looking at you like, please, you can't tell me nothing. I'm bringing home that bake, right? That's what this society teaches us. We can't have that spirit, right? If she in the spirit, she gonna humble up. I said, listen, that's my husband, man. Husband's supposed to be above me. I'm not care with damn what this world gave me. I'm gonna humble up, right? Yahweh Shai thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High. He wasn't going to try to be equal with the Heavenly Father. He never thought to go there. But our women always talk about 50-50. Where did they get that nonsense from? If it was 50-50 between you and your wife, then it'd be 50-50 between the Most High and Yahweh Shai. Then you have two gods. When we read the scripture, we say it every week. Shema Yahshua Yahweh Elohim now Yahweh Cut. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh is our power, Yahweh is one power. Right? So this is what we took away. The order comes from Yahweh. For the household, it starts with the Most High, it works its way down to the household. Right? We understand that order, and we are to humble up, and orders come down, and humility comes up. We all humble to the one that's above us. Okay? So this is Marriage 101. Any questions? Anything we went over? All right. We got some clarity. All praises. Like I said, we're going to do a series, probably about 4 classes, 101 to 104, on marriage. By that time, if y'all come, y'all write the scriptures down, you will have a little full understanding of marriage. Nobody can shake you, break you, or misconstrue or twist your mind. You're going to have every answer to every question. All right, come? Hallelujah. With that, I would say, Admadim Wapanya Yerushalayim, stand and face Jerusalem. So we can close in prayer. Close our church. Hallelujah.
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 Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
By Hashem?
Yahweh Shai.
By Hashem?
Yahweh Shai.
Let's say Mashiach Palau. The Lord's Prayer and Allah Shul Kodash. Repeat the Hebrew. Abiyanawa.
Abiyanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Haya.
Haya.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Balak Balka.
Allah.
Taba'ah.
Taba'ah.
Batazaka.
Zaka.
Haya.
Haya.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Baharatza.
Baharatza.
Ka.
Ka.
Bashemayim.
Bashemayim.
Dalanawa.
Dalanawa.
Lacham.
Lacham.
Ko.
Ko.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalakanawa.
Salaknawa.
Kababatinawa.
Salaknawa.
Kasalakinawa.
Salaknawa.
Kababatinawa.
Salaknawa.
Wala'a.
La'a.
Kabiyanawa.
Yahweh.
Wanasawan.
Wanasawan.
Labo.
Labo.
Kawashaynawa.
Washayna.
Wanrad.
Rad.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Lakab.
Laka.
Amalakwa.
Malakwa.
Waha'ala.
Waha'ala.
Wahatayparas.
Waha'ala.
Wa'ayhulamya.
Hallelujah.
Wahasham.
Wahasham.
Kamashiach.
Mashiach.
Yahushai.
Yahushua.
Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
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 Let's give Moses a hand. Hallelujah. All right, remember, don't forget, class tomorrow, noonday, going through the portion. So putting together the test, I might have it together for you by tomorrow. I think I'll have it. So the test on numbers should be in here tomorrow. Hallelujah.